Close your eyes. It's 334 BC. A young man, just 22, stands on a ship. Behind him, 35,000 soldiers await. Ahead lies the vast expanse of Asia, home to the largest empire in history, filled with millions and 100,000 soldiers. Everyone thinks he's mad. Everyone believes he's headed for death. But with a fierce determination, he throws his spear into the sand, declaring, "I claim all of Asia." 12 years later, he will own it all. This is not a movie or a fantasy. This is real history. In the year 356 BCE, in the ancient kingdom of Macedon, a baby boy is born who will change the world forever. His name is Alexander, born under a shroud of strange signs and predictions. On the very night of his birth, the great temple of Artemis at Ephesus burns to the ground. It is said that the goddess, distracted by the miracle of birth, neglected her temple. This event was interpreted as a portent, a sign that this child is destined for greatness. Alexander's father, King Philip II of Macedon, is a brilliant warrior, transforming a weak mountain kingdom into Greece's strongest military power. He creates a new type of army, with soldiers wielding long spears called sarissas, fighting in tight formations known as phalanxes. With this powerful army, Philip begins conquering the Greek city-states that previously scorned Macedon. His mother, Queen Olympias, a passionate and ambitious princess from Epirus, insists to all that Alexander is not Philip's son, but rather the son of Zeus, king of the Greek gods. She claims that Zeus visited her as a serpent or in a flash of lightning. Whether truth or propaganda, this belief fuels Alexander's sense of purpose and destiny throughout his life. Growing up in the royal palace, young Alexander receives an exceptional education. He learns to ride horses at an early age, becoming skilled enough to tame even the wildest steeds. He trains with weapons daily, honing the strength and skill of a warrior. But Philip insists he also studies literature, science, politics, and philosophy. At just 13, Alexander's education takes a pivotal turn when Philip hires Aristotle, the greatest philosopher of the time. For 3 years, Aristotle teaches Alexander and a select group of young Macedonian nobles in the countryside. Alexander immerses himself in philosophy, medicine, and literature, developing a deep admiration for Homer's Iliad, particularly the tragic hero Achilles. Alexander identifies with Achilles, who chose a short but glorious life over a long, mundane existence. He keeps a copy of the Iliad beneath his pillow, alongside his dagger, a reminder of the heroic legacy he wishes to emulate. Yet, Alexander knows he must prove himself in battle. At just 16, while Philip is away at war, Alexander is left in charge of Macedon. When a tribe rebels, he takes action, gathering an army and defeating the insurgents. He establishes a new city, Alexandropolis, marking his first victory and his first city founded. 2 years later, at 18, he fights alongside his father at the pivotal Battle of Chaeronea. Commanding the cavalry, Alexander leads a fierce charge that breaks through the enemy lines, showcasing his bravery. Ancient accounts celebrate him as the first to breach the enemy's defenses, instilling fear in his foes and earning his father's admiration. But the relationship between father and son is strained. Philip marries a younger woman, casting doubt on Alexander's claim to the throne. At the wedding, a toast suggests Alexander's foreign lineage makes him unworthy, igniting his anger. He throws his cup at the man, and in a drunken fury, Philip stumbles towards him, only to fall. Alexander mocks him, his patience wearing thin. Months later, they reconcile, but tension lingers. In 336 BCE, at a wedding celebration, tragedy strikes. King Philip is assassinated, stabbed by one of his own bodyguards. The motives behind the murder remain murky, with whispers of conspiracy. Both Alexander and Olympias deny involvement, but the outcome is undeniable. At just 20, Alexander ascends to the throne of Macedon. Immediately, he acts to secure his rule. Potential rivals are eliminated or forced into hiding. Suspected conspirators meet swift justice. Within months, Alexander consolidates his power, ready to fulfill his father's vision, the invasion of the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire, sprawling from Egypt to India, represents the largest empire the world has ever known. It encompasses countless cultures, languages, and a military force of staggering size. For a young king of a small kingdom to think of conquering this behemoth seems insane. Yet, Alexander plans to do just that, driven not only by a desire for revenge for past invasions, but by an insatiable thirst for glory. In 334 BCE, Alexander crosses the Hellespont, taking 35,000 Macedonian and Greek soldiers with him. As his ship nears the Asian shore, he hurls a spear into the sand, claiming the land. He visits the ruins of Troy, honoring Achilles and declaring the legendary hero fortunate to have loyal friends and a poet immortalizing his deeds, suggesting that he too will achieve eternal fame. The first major battle awaits at the Granicus River. A Persian army stands ready to repel the invasion, holding a strong position. Despite his general's counsel to wait, Alexander orders an immediate attack. He leads his cavalry directly into the fray, charging into the river. The clash is brutal, a sword nearly takes his life, but his friend Cletus intervenes, saving him. The Persians are defeated, and the victory at Granicus opens Western Asia to Alexander, marking him as a formidable threat. The two armies collide at a place called Issus, nestled in a narrow valley near the coast. Alexander, ever the brilliant tactician, skillfully positions his soldiers. Then, with a fierce determination, he leads a cavalry charge straight toward Darius's line. It's reckless, fraught with peril. If he falls, the entire invasion crumbles. Yet, against all odds, the Macedonian cavalry breaks through the Persian defenses, sending Darius into a panicked flight. As news of their king's retreat spreads, the Persian army falters and falls apart. In the aftermath, Alexander seizes Darius's camp, capturing his family, his mother, wife, and daughters, abandoned amid the chaos. He treats them not as prisoners, but with honor and kindness, assuring them they will live as royalty. This act of generosity paints Alexander as a noble leader, a civilized conqueror. Meanwhile, Darius, now secure in Persia, dispatches ambassadors with an offer: a hefty ransom for his family, vast territories for Alexander, and his daughter's hand in marriage. Parmenion, a trusted general, urges acceptance, but Alexander, resolute, dismisses the offer. He does not seek a piece of the Persian Empire, he seeks its entirety. Instead of pursuing Darius, Alexander surprises his generals by turning south toward Egypt. His strategy is clear: secure the Mediterranean coast to safeguard his supply lines and prevent a Persian naval assault. This decision steers him into a formidable challenge: the Siege of Tyre. The city, perched on an island, boasts towering walls that rise defiantly from the sea. Confident in their defenses, the Tyrians refuse to surrender. In response, Alexander embarks on an audacious engineering feat, constructing a causeway of earth and stone across half a mile of open water. The Tyrians launch fierce attacks on Alexander's workers, igniting his siege equipment and battling valiantly. But Alexander remains undeterred. The siege drags on for 7 long months. At last, his forces breach the walls, and his fury at the Tyrians' defiance is merciless. Thousands perish, and many more are sold into slavery. The causeway, a testament to his ambition, remains, a bridge that forever links the island to the mainland. With the coast secured, Alexander strides into Egypt in 332 BC. For 200 years, the Egyptians have suffered under Persian rule, and they greet Alexander not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. The priests crown him pharaoh, declaring him a living god in accordance with their traditions. This divine recognition resonates with Alexander, who has long harbored suspicions of his own extraordinary lineage. Yet, the most pivotal moment in Egypt unfolds as he embarks on a journey to the Oracle of Ammon in the Siwa Oasis, deep in the Libyan desert. Days of arduous travel across the harsh desert culminate in his arrival at the revered oracle. Ancient sources suggest he enters the inner chamber alone, seeking confirmation of his divinity as the son of Zeus Ammon, a fusion of Greek and Egyptian belief. The priest's response, delivered in secrecy, remains unknown, yet Alexander claims it fulfills his deepest desires. From that moment, he projects an image of divinity, demanding reverence from those around him. This transformation begins to fracture his relationships with his Macedonian companions. In Egypt, he also lays the groundwork for his most renowned city, Alexandria. This coastal gem, at the Nile River Delta's edge, blossoms into one of the ancient world's greatest cities, famed for its library and lighthouse. Alexander meticulously plans its design, ensuring it will flourish for millennia, holding his name long after he is gone. In 331 BCE, Alexander turns eastward, setting his sights on Darius and the heart of the Persian Empire. Darius, having rebuilt his forces, awaits them on the battlefield at Gaugamela, near the ancient ruins of Nineveh in modern Iraq. He has chosen the terrain wisely, an expansive plain optimized for his larger army and cavalry, reportedly numbering over 100,000, though this figure likely exaggerates their true strength. Alexander's own ranks stand at 40,000, a daunting disparity. As the clash unfolds, Darius arrays his troops in a formidable line, featuring war elephants and specially designed chariots. Alexander, undaunted, positions his infantry and cavalry strategically, crafting a deceptive trap. When the battle ignites, he creates a gap in the Persian lines. Seizing the moment, he leads his elite cavalry in a devastating charge directly at Darius's position, mirroring his tactics at Issus. Once again, Darius flees, and with him, the Persian army. This time, Darius's retreat is final, sending him deeper into his realm in search of new armies. The once great king, whose dominions stretched from India to Egypt, is now a fugitive. Alexander's victory at Gaugamela grants him access to the Persian cities. He enters Babylon, welcomed as a hero, and seizes Susa, rich with legendary treasures. Marching onward, he reaches Persepolis, the ceremonial heart of Persia, its opulence a symbol of the empire's power. Accounts of Persepolis's fate spark ongoing debate. Alexander captures the city and its vast treasury, hoarded over generations. Months later, the royal palace ignites in flames. Whether this act was revenge for Athens's destruction, an accident, or a calculated political move remains uncertain. Perhaps it is a blend of all three. Regardless, the burning of Persepolis signals the collapse of the Persian Empire, once a dominant force in the Near East, now reduced to ashes, with Alexander standing as its master. Yet Darius remains alive, fleeing eastward through the remnants of his empire. Alexander, relentless, pursues him. In 330 BCE, Darius's own nobles, led by the treacherous Bessus, assassinate their king, hoping to appease Alexander and preserve their lives. They are gravely mistaken. Alexander discovers Darius's body and, in a gesture of respect, covers it with his cloak. He vows to avenge the betrayal. The fallen king, though defeated, earns Alexander's reverence in death. As he tracks Bessus through Central Asia, Alexander captures him after a grueling campaign and orders his execution. With Darius avenged and Bessus punished, Alexander has fulfilled his ambition, the conquest of the Persian Empire. He could rest, revel in his triumph, and govern the largest empire the world has ever known. Yet, at only 25, his thirst for conquest remains unquenched. He presses on, venturing into territories that even the Persians had never fully controlled, driven by an insatiable desire to reach the ends of the earth, surpass all predecessors, and satisfy an almost divine restlessness that propels him ever forward. As he journeys deeper into Asia, a transformation takes hold within him. The charming young king, once revered by the Greeks and respectful of Persian traditions, begins to morph into a more demanding, violent figure. Several factors contribute to this unsettling change. He starts adopting Persian customs, sitting upon a lavish throne, donning royal attire, and insisting visitors bow to him. To his Macedonian allies, raised in an environment of camaraderie and equality under Philip, these practices feel wrong, a betrayal of their shared struggle against tyranny. Compounding the issue is Alexander's escalating drinking. While Macedonian culture traditionally embraced wine at celebrations, Alexander descends into a darker pattern. He becomes increasingly volatile, especially when intoxicated. The most tragic incident occurs in 328 BCE during a feast at Maracanda, present-day Samarkand. A drunken dispute over his adoption of Persian customs ignites fury in him, leading to a horrific act. In a fit of rage, he seizes a spear and kills Cletus, his closest friend and savior at the Granicus River. When the haze of intoxication fades, the weight of his actions crashes down on him. Overcome with grief, Alexander locks himself away for 3 days, refusing food, consumed by sorrow and regret for the loss of Cletus, a bond severed in a moment of madness. His grief is palpable, a dark cloud hanging over him. Alexander's temper, fueled by alcohol and power, becomes a volatile mix, threatening even those closest to him. In 327 BCE, whispers of treachery echo through the royal court as young men plotting his assassination are discovered. The conspirators face execution, unveiling a chilling truth. Fear and resentment brew among those who once served him loyally. Under torture, one would-be assassin named Callisthenes, Aristotle's nephew and the expedition's chronicler, whose sharp criticism of Alexander's Persian customs and divine claims had raised eyebrows. Whether Callisthenes was a true conspirator remains a mystery, but Alexander acts swiftly, arresting him. In the shadows of a prison, Callisthenes dies, severing the bond between teacher and student. The transformation of Alexander from idealistic king to a more ruthless tyrant becomes undeniable. This was a man who once showed mercy to enemies, treated Darius's family with kindness, and embraced Greek values. But now, paranoia grips him. Yet amid his descent, flashes of remarkable vision emerge. He encourages marriages between Macedonians and Persians, recruits locals into his army, and establishes cities that blend Greek settlers with native populations. His adoption of Persian dress signifies both ego and an earnest desire to rule a united empire, transcending ethnic divides, a revolutionary notion in his time. In 327 BCE, Alexander crosses the formidable Hindu Kush mountains into India, venturing into uncharted territory beyond Persian claims and Greek knowledge. He faces formidable foes, including King Porus at the Battle of the Hiphasis River. The clash is fierce, war elephants instilling terror in Alexander's cavalry, but his tactical brilliance prevails. Impressed by Porus's valor in battle, despite his injuries, Alexander chooses to let him retain his kingdom as an ally. Yet at the Hiphasis River, Alexander's army reaches their breaking point. After 8 grueling years of conquest, they refuse to march further. Thousands of miles from home, the oppressive monsoon rains transform the landscape into a mire of misery. Tales of even larger Indian armies waiting ahead, with countless more elephants, fill their hearts with dread. When Alexander declares his intent to press onward to the world's edge, his men stand resolute against him. The crushing weight of their defiance sends him into his tent, where he remains for 3 days, hoping for a change of heart that never comes. Acceptance dawns slowly, and Alexander concedes to turn back. Yet he attempts to frame this retreat as a choice rather than a defeat. On the riverbank, he erects 12 massive altars, marking the easternmost point of his journey. The return journey proves nearly as costly as the conquests themselves. Alexander leads a portion of his army through the harsh Gadron Desert of modern-day Pakistan and Iran, a gamble no army has successfully navigated before. Disaster strikes in the desert. Water is a precious commodity, the heat unbearable, and flash floods wreak havoc. Ancient sources claim more soldiers perish in the desert than in battle, though the truth is likely exaggerated. Still, the suffering is immense. Yet Alexander shares in their hardships, rekindling some loyalty among his weary men. By 324 BCE, he returns to Persia, intent on reorganizing his sprawling empire. Corrupt officials, believing him dead in India, are swiftly removed from power. In a bid for unity, Alexander orchestrates a grand wedding at Susa, where he and 90 officers marry Persian noblewomen. He takes 2 more Persian princesses as wives, having already wed the Bactrian princess Roxana. He encourages 10,000 soldiers to marry Asian women, hoping to bridge the divide. But tensions simmer beneath the surface. The Macedonian veterans resent the influx of Persians into their ranks and Alexander's increasing embrace of Persian customs. In 324 BCE, when news arises of sending older veterans home with respect and pay, the army erupts in mutiny at Opis. They feel discarded by a king who seems to favor his new Persian subjects. Alexander's fury ignites. He executes the ringleaders and declares he will only rely on Persians, branding his Macedonians as ungrateful. Shocked, the veterans beg for forgiveness. In a dramatic display, he publicly forgives them, but the peace is fleeting. In 323 BCE, tragedy strikes as Alexander's closest friend, Hephaestion, succumbs to a fever. The depth of Alexander's grief is overwhelming, bordering on madness. He mandates elaborate mourning rituals across the empire, adopting Persian mourning customs by cutting his hair. In a fit of rage, he orders the execution of Hephaestion's doctor for failing to save him. He constructs a grand funeral pyre, his sorrow revealing the profound loneliness that power brings. In June 323 BCE, while plotting new campaigns in Babylon, sickness overtakes Alexander. For 10 agonizing days, his condition deteriorates. Fever grips him, weakness envelops him, and eventually he loses the power of speech. His soldiers, fearing the worst, demand to see their king. He is carried before them, and though he cannot speak, he acknowledges each soldier with a gaze that conveys more than words could express. On June 10th or 11th, 323 BCE, Alexander breathes his last. At just 32, he leaves behind a legacy of unparalleled conquests. In 12 years of relentless campaigning, he has forged an empire stretching from Greece to India, from Egypt to Central Asia, the largest the world has ever seen. He has been pharaoh, king of Persia, and Macedon, founding 20 cities in his own name. His undefeated record in battle is a testament to his military genius. Yet he departs without a clear heir, his wife Roxana pregnant, but yet to give birth, and his half-brother mentally incapacitated. When his generals question, "Who will rule your kingdom?" his last words resonate ambiguously, either to the strongest or the best, a riddle that leaves his empire vulnerable. Almost immediately, it begins to fragment as his generals engage in fierce battles for control over the spoils. Alexander's death ushers in an era of conflict among his generals, yet it also heralds a new age. Greek culture spreads across the Near East, intermingling with local traditions, birthing vibrant civilizations in what becomes known as the Hellenistic Age. The cities he founded evolve into epicenters of Greek culture, with Alexandria in Egypt emerging as the intellectual heart of the Mediterranean. The legacy of his military tactics endures, shaping warfare for centuries, his strategies of combined arms influencing commanders throughout history. More than military prowess, Alexander's greatest legacy lies in his vision of a world empire ruled by a semi-divine king. He shattered the barriers between peoples, forging a new identity where Greeks and Persians, Europeans and Asians could blend into something unprecedented. His story transforms into legend. The young conqueror, who achieved the impossible and died at the zenith of his power, remains an enduring figure. Each subsequent conqueror measures themselves against his monumental achievements, and empires draw inspiration from his life. Yet the man behind the legend remains elusive. Was he a visionary uniting humanity, or merely a conqueror driven by ambition? Was he a brilliant strategist or a fortunate gambler? Did power corrupt him, or was he destined to rise? These questions linger, debated for over 2 millennia. What is certain is that in his short life, Alexander lived an extraordinary tale. Ascending to kingship at 20, conquering the known world before 30, and immortalized by 32, his life burned bright, changing everything it touched before extinguishing suddenly. He sought glory and achieved it. He dreamed of an empire and created it. In his wake, he left a legacy that would shape history for ages to come. Should they try, this question lingers unanswerable. He was the boy who conquered the world, the king who became a god, a general who never lost, a visionary dreaming beyond the stars, a mortal who defied all limits. He was Alexander, a legend whose shadow looms large, unmatched by anyone who has come since. His name echoes through time, a testament to ambition, a figure who reshaped the known world with tenacity and brilliance. His story inspires, challenges, and ignites the hearts of those who dare to dream. For in the annals of history, there remains only one Alexander, a beacon of greatness forever burning bright.